You stay in the course. Nothing is going to get me off course. See, victory, remember we said Abraham, and somebody else, he's dealing with the same thing. He's saying the situation that you're encountering, he said just maintain the course, Danny. Those things that you're encountering right now on the job, he said you got to maintain the course, but stop complaining. Stay consistent. Don't say what you see. Don't say what you feel. Say what I promised you. See, you're going to change what is happening. Watch this. People are saying what you should be saying. People expect more of you than what you expected yourself. You know why? Because God got them prophesying for you. But if you don't prophesy and agree with what God has said about you, that you will be the head and not the tail, you will always be above and not beneath. If you don't believe that, hear me. God is trying to get you to hear that I'm trying to use somebody to tell you what I said to you so you can start saying what I said. Stay the course. Stay the course. It's easy to get out of course, V. It's easy to try to make your own passages and your own pathways. It's easy to look at somebody else and say what God is doing for them and then look at you and say what he ain't. It is easy for it to look like that he's blessing somebody else and I'm going through hell and high waters. It's easy for it to appear that way because, hear me, hell and high waters is part of the course to develop a purpose in you that, hear me, that others don't have. I want you to know the one that goes through the rough is the people that God is going to use. Here, it's indicative. It's indicative. It's a rule of law that, hear me, that watch this, your risk denotes your reward. Your risk expresses your reward. See, what we don't realize is that the things that you're risking and the things that seem to be so precious and the things that seem to be so confining and so binding to you, God is saying that I'm telling you that, hear me, that situation bears the seed of where I'm taking you. The revelation of where you're going is in the type of situations that you're going through. I'll say that again. If you're going through hell and high water and it don't look like the rock is about to roll away, all that says is I'm going to teach you how to get around the rock. And you're going to have a revelation on this rock ain't nothing compared to the power of God. Whereas others never been in the rock, hear me, they won't know how to deal with hard times. So when they go through hard times, who they going to look for? The one that know how to handle hard times. So that risk that you're taking, that pressure that you're under is denoting that God want to take you to a place that him and that others have never been. I was talking to Alex Shanara yesterday. Greg and I was talking to the attorney. Y'all have seen him on TV. Alex, this is Alex Shanara, and was talking with him, and I got a chance to really minister to him. He's a Palestinian, and got a chance to really just minister and literally speak into his life, something that God had spoke to me earlier in the week to tell him that when we got together to give him a word. And one of the things that he was sharing, he shared, he said, listen, you don't understand is that we taking a risk on you. He said, but we understand the reward on the back end. The reward outweighs the risk. So I'll put up $200,000-$300,000. Ain't nobody gonna put up no $200,000-$300,000 for nothing. They see something. Y'all missing what I'm saying? You won't take the risk in stepping out and trust God because you don't see what God is doing in you. So instead of you trusting God and going and obey God, you right here trying to argue, and you right here trying to dissertate with God and deliberate with God on why God and how come God and how long God. And God is saying, you don't understand the bigger picture is that I got you in this rut because there's a reward that's waiting on you. And if you don't go through the rut, if I rewarded you, you won't be able to handle the reward. You won't be able to enjoy the benefit because, hear me, you don't know how you got there. And if I just put it in your lap, if I just dropped it in your lap, you wouldn't appreciate it. And it'll be gone as quick as you got it. But if you went through hell, you're going to hold on to something to remember. I ain't going through all this for nothing. I'm going to have something to remind me it was worth it. You see, the greater the risk, the greater. The world understands it better than me and you. Because they're willing to put it all on the line. Don't know you, ain't never seen you, don't know if they'll ever see you again. But is willing to put everything on the line. Why? Because they see the bigger picture. And me and you haven't seen the bigger picture yet. You know why? Because we have been claustrophobic with problems, with circumstances, with burdens. We allow those things to close in on us, and we cannot see any further than the last problem we had. And so when we trust God, he removes the pressures. He removes the burdens and say, if you'll see me, you can receive the reward. If you can just see me in the midst of it, you can have the reward. But if you don't see me, you'll never get what I promised and intended for you to have. We got to be willing to trust God. And it starts with simply following the praise and worship leader. The prayer, the intercessors, when they get up here and lead us, it starts with those small requests from God, from people that we seem insignificant or don't matter. You see, that's where it starts. We got to go back to the seed plot. What you mean? We got to go back to the basics. We got to get back to the basics because we done got so strong in God and so profound with God and so supernatural that when God sent a little simple truth in, it blows our mind. Because we went on a deep sea fishing trip. And God said, we ain't going deep nothing. I need you to get deep back over here and let's learn to get back grounded. How you going to swim and you ain't walked on dry land? We haven't learned to trust God with the things that we can put our hands on, with the things that we can believe for a meal today or for $2 for some gas or the gas needle on empty and the light been flashing, waving at you. You got to go to work and you ain't got nowhere to get no money from. And every mile that you drive, that's the light flashing, waving. And you know how far your car can go when the light wave at you. And what we'll do, we'll sit there and complain and hit the tank. Every time we take off. Every time we take off. And instead of realizing that, hear me, let it pull because it has an automatic pull. Let it ease into it and you just coast into it and then mash it a little bit at a time so that, hear me, because it ain't going to burn much gas. It's what you call the idle gas. You're using that idle gas to kind of coast you along so that, hear me, you won't be burning no gas. See, he don't have to give me no money. Just show me how to get there. You see, I'm saying that to say that when we think that God has to use one method, he will never be boxed in to one method. He will never be, Pastor, boxed into one way of doing anything in our lives. Matter of fact, he'll change it up just for as I call it, just for the heck of it. It don't even have to change, but hear me, you getting too comfortable, you getting too complacent with me moving that way, so I'm going to just mess everything up. But he's not messing it up because he's trying to create problems. He's trying to create trust. Y'all missed that? The problem was designed to make me trust God. I'm talking to somebody. Your situation is designed to make you trust God. Not your job, not Big Mama and them, not Willie Mae and them, not Robert Jr. and them. Your problem is designed to make you trust God. The bank can't even help you now. I was listening at Pastor Wilma a few minutes ago before I came out, and she was saying, I ain't worked in a year, but I ain't missed a tick. I ain't missed a beat paying house, no car, no college fees. I ain't missed nothing. And she was sharing how it comes to a point to where, hey, 30-some years on a job and you just let go one day. Bam, you come to work and they put you on waivers list. Good to know you, good to have you, but see you later. No reason, no problem. You ain't did nothing wrong. Been one of the top producers, got all the awards that they gave. One day they let you go. So what you going to do, get mad and cuss the folk out? What was he trying to do? Get her to trust him. Ain't no need of it. Because hear me, the job might fold next year. The whole company may fold up. What they going to do? I'm glad he taught me how to trust him. Ain't that right, Sam? ain't that right, Mr. Young? It make us, hey, I'm going to trust you, Lord. We used to sing it in Old Baptist. I will trust. It's more than a song now, ain't it? Put the dance with it. It's a song and a dance now because you living that thing, ain't it? But guess what? He never let y'all down, have he? Y'all been on all kind of cruises and trips and everywhere, ain't you? No. Both of them jobs shut down. Am I lying? Both of them jobs shut down. Doggone, I can't even keep up with them. See that? Every time I turn around, they gone somewhere. But wait a minute, how can they do this? Because they understand one thing. That job was not my source. If that job was their source, they'd be depressed. They'd be vexed. They'd be frustrated. Wouldn't even be at church. I ain't going back to church. I ain't serving God no more. In spite of all of that, God makes ways to make ends meet. And I want to say this too. They ain't just sitting back doing nothing either. I need to add that part because, see, sometimes we think he's going to drop the pie out of the sky. Any pie fell out of the sky yet? Ain't nothing fell out of the sky yet, right? So that means till the pie fall, what y'all got to do? Do something. When you out there Saturday, and you were making pie, wasn't making, and then fell out the sky, but you were making pie though, wasn't you? In other words, she had to take what she had, Larry, like you do. Take your hands like you do and make something happen. Don't look good, don't feel good sometimes. Sometimes I'm mad and just tired of this mess. But I understand there's a miracle in my hands when I put them to work. You see, some of you got some skills in here that has never been tapped into, and you have not allowed God because you're complaining so much, you're bickering so much, you're fussing and arguing with God about something that God is saying that situation is pushing you closer to the gift and the anointing and the skill that I put on the inside of you. We got mad at Ronald Reagan because he came up with Reaganomics. Best president we ever had. Best president black folk ever had. Because what? Tell them again. We got up off our behind, and we had more entrepreneurs than millionaires, Fortune 500, CEOs. Because what we were doing was this, begging. And what he did, he took away. He took away the programs that were designed to keep you bound and keep you begging and keep you wanting and depending on somebody else. He took away all the programs, and if it don't work, you don't eat. Many of us became business entrepreneurs. We didn't even think that we could have a business. We didn't even think that we could work and have folk working for us. We were even scared to step beyond the workforce of working for somebody else until now every door was shut, and now either you're going to make it or be broken by it. And that's what God does. He puts us in a position to where now either you're going to trust me or you're going to doubt me. If you trust me, you'll be rewarded. If you doubt me, you'll be doomed with your situation. Yes, it will be hell and high.